All right, let's get started, and I'm going to do something real crazy this morning. I'm going to have you guys start lying down on your belly. So, lie down however you want, however you feel most comfortable. So maybe arms down by your sides with your head turned to one side. Maybe you have a pillow, you want to rest your head on a pillow or a blanket at home. You could also stack your palms one on top of the other and rest your forehead on your hands. So just lay on your belly in whatever position feels most comfortable for you. Close your eyes and take a moment to just feel the ground underneath you. Feel that sense of grounding and that stability underneath you. Let it hold you. Take a few deep breaths just on your own. So I'm not going to cue you through them today, but just take some big, huge inhales and then big open mouth exhales. And each time you breathe in, see if you can feel your belly press into the ground below you. Expand into the ground below you. And then no rush, but after you've taken a few deep breaths, just seal your lips and start to bring in Ujjayi breath. So in and out through your nose, gentle constriction in the back of your throat. And we're gonna focus on our shoulders today. So right away, we're gonna come into shoulder pigeon with our right arm. So stay connected to your Ujjayi breath, but reach your right arm out to the right, palm face down, so your hand is straight out from your shoulder, and then roll up onto your right side body. So getting into our physical practice, but at the same time, still stay connected to just that meditation. Stay connected to your breath, the in, the out, the rise and fall, the expansion and contraction. So we're just warming up as we kind of find our own internal rhythm. And you can take any variation you want to of shoulder pigeon. So any variation with your legs, anything you want to do with your left arm. Take about 3 or 4 more rounds on this side. And if you want to intensify the stretch, just make sure your palm is facing down and you're spreading your fingers wide, pressing down through your fingertips. You can scoot your hand further up so it's more above your shoulder, or you can even bend your elbow so it's in more of a cactus or a goalpost position. And that'll intensify it and bring a little more stretch into the front of your chest as well, into your pectoral muscles. So take a moment, see if you can take bigger, deeper breaths, and just allow for that sensation to start to enter your body. So noticing, feeling, observing the sensation in your right shoulder. Notice if there's any tension in your face. Try to relax your neck, let your head just rest against the ground. And if you can't do that, then bring a pillow underneath your head or a block underneath your head. Take just 2 more breaths. You're welcome to exhale out your mouth if you want. And then slowly, we're just going to transition to the other side. So as you're ready, and you can take a moment as you transition to come through center and just feel the difference between right and left arm, right side and left side. But as you're ready, pigeon or shoulder pigeon on the left. So left hand straight out to the left, palm face down. Roll onto your left side body. Any variation you want to take, anywhere you want to go with it. It doesn't necessarily have to be what you did on the other side. Maybe close your eyes, really tune into your breath, hone in on your breath. See if you can make your inhales travel down into your low belly, your low back. Take your exhales all the way to emptiness. And see if you can find that power, that vibrancy in your Ujjayi breaths. So yes, we are getting right into the physical practice, but don't lose track of that meditation. Don't lose track of your breath. Make it just as important. Take about 4 more rounds on this side. Perhaps this side feels tighter than the other, maybe more open. If you want to intensify it, you can scoot your left hand up higher or even bend your left elbow. So really think of opening through the front of your left shoulder and breathing into that space. Good. Soften your face, unclench your jaw. Give me about 2 more breaths. And then end of your next exhalation, roll back onto your belly. Bring your forehead to touch the ground and bring your hands out wide to frame your mat, setting up for Spider-Man Cobra. So lift up to your fingertips, elbows face the sky. Your hands are slightly in front of your shoulders. Next time you breathe in, lift your chest up. Exhale, twist to the right and dip your left shoulder down towards the ground. Inhale, come back to center, lift your heart, tone your belly. Exhale, other side, twist to the left, right shoulder dips. Go 1 more time in each direction. So inhale to lift, exhale to twist, and just feel that mobility through your shoulders, through your spine, maybe even down into your low back, your hips. Move with your breath. Eventually, an inhale will bring you back to center. Exhale to release and let it go. And then we'll rise up to our hands and our knees. So hands frame your mid-ribs, press up to hands and knees. And from here, take a few rounds of either cat-cows or just any intuitive movement that feels good to you. So maybe hip circles, maybe even a child's pose. Maybe you want to take puppy pose and stretch your shoulders a little bit more. So for puppy, you just leave your hips straight on top of your knees, right over your knees. Walk your hands forward as far as you can. Press maybe your chest towards the ground as you gaze slightly forward so your chin is down. And pressing your armpits towards the ground as well. So just an option if you want to take it, just a couple more breaths, 2 or 3 breaths wherever you're at. And then as you're ready, you guys, we'll find our way into our first downward facing dog of practice. So no rush. Get there in your own time. You can get there in your own way if you want to move through a regular vinyasa. If you want to take a hovering tabletop with your knees hovering, and then just ever so slowly lift your hips and press them back. Sometimes that's kind of a fun way to transition. So find your way into down dog, and then once you're there, just give yourself a moment to really arrive in this posture on your mat in this moment. You can pedal out your heels if you want. You can move your hips from side to side. Maybe shake your head yes or no. So in this first down dog, really find the length from your fingertips up to your sit bones. So if that means you have to bend your knees more, that's perfectly fine. Think of lengthening through your side bodies, lengthening underneath your armpits. Imagine, like I always say, imagine you've got that invisible rope attached to your belly button, and it's literally pulling up towards the ceiling, tugging towards the back of the room you're in. So find that connection to center, so important. It will make it so much easier. So I used to have a teacher that said, effort less to achieve more. So it's not necessarily that the pose gets easier, like it's not hard anymore, like you're just hanging out and you could fall asleep there. It's still challenging, it's still difficult, but it doesn't feel like you're efforting so hard. So if you can effort less, you become more efficient in your body, you get more out of the posture, and you don't have to fight your way through it. Breathe into it and feel your breath move into all the little spaces. Take just one more inhale into your down dog. Exhale, gaze to the top of your yoga mat, step, tiptoe, or hop, forward fold. And then once you've arrived at the top of your mat, give yourself a moment in your forward fold, feet hips width distance apart, or maybe even a little bit wider to begin with today. Make sure all 10 toes face forward. Let your head hang heavy. Perhaps grab opposite elbows for ragdoll, maybe even a little sway from side to side, or you can bob gently up and down. So try to keep your weight in the front half of your feet. Don't rock back into your heels. Try not to rock into the outer edges of your feet. Stay rooted through your big toe mound and the inner edges. Imagine you're trying to lift your butt, lift your sit bones up. So even if you have a big bend in your knees, think of lifting up through your waistline, crown of your head towards the ground. Give me a couple more rounds of breath. And then if you are holding onto your elbows, release. You can bring your feet in a little closer if you prefer them closer. Next time you inhale, halfway lift, spinal extension. So as much length as you can create. Exhale, bow and fold. And then do that one more time. Inhale, halfway lift. So crown reaches forward, tops of thighs press back, sit bones broaden. This should feel like a stretch if you're doing it correctly. Exhale, fold. And then this time, come through your halfway lift, continue to rise. So unhinge at your hips all the way up. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, draw your hands into your heart center. Flow with your breath, couple half sun salutes. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, lead with your heart, take it down slowly, forward fold. Inhale to your spinal extension, so lengthen. Get all the rounding out of your back muscles. Squeeze around your spinal column. Exhale, fold, bow. Now press into your feet, lead with your heart, rise up. Inhale, take your arms up, stretch tall, try to touch the ceiling with your fingertips. Exhale, hands to heart center. One more time like that. Perhaps close your eyes. Inhale, reach. Exhale, feel your body move through space slowly as you take it down. Halfway lift, breathe in. And exhale, fold, bow in. Root through your feet and let's rise all the way up. Inhale, stretch tall. Exhale, hands to your heart. All right. Inhale, arms to the sky. And as you exhale, bring your hands behind your back and interlace your fingers. All right, you guys, this is a little bit weird. Bend your elbows a lot and press your palms together. So my elbows have a huge bend in them. I'm pressing my palms together. Now, I want you to think of a washing machine or even a dryer. And I want you to just move your hands around in circles as much as you can. And then start to go as fast as you can, but keep the rest of your body really still. And then reverse your circles. So you should feel your shoulders start to build heat, start to get tired. Try to keep your face soft. Circle, 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 fullest range of motion you can find. And let it go. Keep your hands clasped. And then start to straighten your arms without locking out your elbows. If you can, keep pressing your palms together. Now, see if you can start to reach your hands back away from your body. Take one more inhale, lift your heart up if it's available, so little baby back bend. Keep your hands clasped, exhale, slow dive down. We're gonna hold here with our hands clasped. So let your neck relax, let your head be heavy. See if you can reach your knuckles higher. You can keep pressing your palms, or you can let that go and just keep your fingers interlaced. Try not to lock out your elbows. Let your neck relax, maybe shake your head yes or no. See if you can lift your butt, your sit bones, your waistline higher. Take one more inhale, really work that stretch in the front of your shoulders. Exhale, bring your hands to your low back and release your clasp. Let your arms hang. Might feel really nice to give them a little shake out. And then next time you breathe in, spinal extension, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant your hands, and step back to plank position. So from your plank, you're going to come straight down to your forearms, forearm plank. All right, so elbows under shoulders, forearms parallel, palms face down, fingers spread wide. Draw your navel towards your spine. Breathe into your back body. Make the fronts of your thighs turn on, so engage through your quads. Now you can choose to stay here if you want to. Otherwise, you're going to roll onto the outer edge of your right foot. Feet are stacked. So it's almost like you're coming into a side plank, but both forearms stay on the ground. It's like a side plank through your lower body. Keep your feet active. Keep pressing down through the belly of your forearms, lifting through your waistline. Take one more round. And then slowly switch to the other side. So bring your feet through center, you come to your tiptoes, and then roll over onto the outer edge of your left foot. Right foot is stacked on top of left. Both forearms press into the ground. Draw up through your left waistline. Breathe, big deep breaths. Soften your face. Feel that heat start to build. Just breathe into it. One more round. Come back to center, so back to your tiptoes. Press back up to the palms of your hands. Regular plank pose, high plank position. Big inhale. Exhale, slow as you can go, all the way to your belly. Let's take another Spider-Man Cobra. Hands slightly out in front of you. Lift your fingertips. Inhale, chest lifts. Now listen. We're going to pause here. Bend your right knee, roll onto the outside of your left hip. So think of a scorpion tail with your right leg. Reach your right tiptoes towards the ground behind you. Let your left shoulder kind of dip towards the ground. If you want more, reach your right toes up towards your left hand. Take one more round. Come back through center and switch to the other side. So now right leg is straight, left knee bends. Roll onto the outside of your right hip. Let your right shoulder dip down. Get that nice stretch. Maybe left toes up towards your right fingertips. One more breath. You guys are awesome. End of your exhale. Come back to center and release. Hands come to frame your mid-ribs. Press up to tabletop, hands and knees. All right. So spread your fingers wide and push your hands into the ground so you feel strength in your arms, you feel strength in your shoulders. Back of your neck is nice and long. Gaze down, draw your belly button in and up. Take your right arm forward and your left leg back for a spinal balance. So as you reach, try not to arch your back. So you don't want a smiley face shape from your fingertips back to your toes. You want a strong, straight, powerful line of energy. Take one more big inhale. See if you can reach even further. And then exhale, elbow to knee. Curl in, round your spine. Hollow out. Inhale, re-extend. And listen, exhale, zigzag. So right arm goes to the right, left leg goes to the left. Bend your elbow or your knee if you want to modify. Take a full round of breath. Hold here. See if you can lift higher, reach further. Inhale, come back to center. So forward and back, stretch long. Exhale one more time, elbow to knee. All right, inhale, lengthen. And as you exhale, move towards your bind. So right arm reaches back, bend your left knee, heel towards your glute. Lift your heart, gaze forward. If it's available to you, grab hold of your left foot. Kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot. Hug in with your inner thighs. Lift through your heart, tone through your belly. Spread your toes as you hold your foot in your hand. 2 more rounds. Kick your foot into your hand and then pull so you find that line of tension. Breathe into it. End of your next exhale, slowly release. Spinal balance, forward and back. Inhale. So neutralize your spine. Exhale, set your hand and your foot on the ground. Now listen. Take your right leg and extend it out to the right. So it's like you're in a half wide-legged straddle position. Toes face directly forward. Take your left arm, reach it out to the left and all the way up to the sky. Big inhale. Exhale, thread your left arm underneath you like you're trying to reach through and grab hold of your right big toe. If you can grab your right big toe with your peace fingers, go for it. Otherwise, just come down to rest on the outside of your shoulder, outside of your head, and take any variation you want. Breathe into your back body, upper back, mid back, low back. And you can kind of move your hips around just ever so slightly. So see what happens when you push your hips back a little bit, when you bring your hips forward a little bit. So just get curious, explore. Give me about 3 more full rounds. Big, spacious inhales, long, strong exhales, all the way to empty. You guys are awesome. Last big breath. And then if you do have your right hand lifted, bring it back to the earth. Keep your right leg extended out to the side. Next inhale, left arm to the sky. Stretch as high as you can. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale, bring your left hand down. And then you're going to take your right leg, so lift your right foot, swing your right leg all the way over so it comes off the left side of your mat. Right tiptoes off the left side of your mat, and then turn and gaze back over your left shoulder. Look back at your right tiptoes. Press down through both hands. Pull your belly button in and up. Hips pull to the right as your upper body turns to the left. Maybe go a little bit further, one more round. And come back to center. Set your right knee down, so regular tabletop, and then we'll meet back in a downward facing dog. Reconnect to your strong, deep breaths. Feel the strength in your arms and your shoulders, all the way up into your core. That lift comes from your center. Next time you inhale, take your right leg to the sky. And then pause here. See if you can peel your right hip open. So bend your right knee, reach your right knee out to the right, then up towards the ceiling. So stay here if you want, or here's your option. Lower down to your left forearm like you're doing dolphin pose with your left arm only. And then start to curl your right fingertips further forward. So you're light on your right hand, reach through your right fingertips. So you got this long line from your right fingertips all the way up to your right knee. Don't sink into your left shoulder. Press down through the belly of your left forearm. Take one more round here, or if you want to get really crazy, you guys, option for a forearm wild thing. So maybe flip your dog. So nice and easy. Step your right tiptoes down behind you. Open it up. Heart towards the sky. Just an option. You don't have to take it. If you're with me in the back bend, give me one more round. And then we'll all meet in a 3-legged dog with our right leg extended. So however you need to transition back, both hands down, right leg lifts, big inhale. Exhale, right knee to your left elbow or as close as you can come. Inhale, 3-legged dog. Exhale, right knee, right elbow or higher if you can get there. Inhale, 3-legged dog. And then last one, knee to your nose. Scoop out your belly. Stay here, breathe in. Push the ground away. Exhale softly. Step your right foot forward. You're in a low lunge position. All right, so keep your legs in your lunge. Left hand on the ground, right arm to the sky, revolve lunge. Twist from your center. Squeeze through your inner thighs, back leg strong and powerful. Imagine you're trying to drag your right hip towards the back of your mat, but at the same time, right knee and shin hug towards your left armpit. If you want a huge challenge, see if you can keep everything the same, but just hover your left hand above the ground. Nothing else moves, nothing else changes. Take one more huge breath. Good work. End of your exhale. Unwind. Crawl your hands over to the left side of your mat. Parallel your feet. Straighten out your legs. Now inhale to a halfway lift. Hands to your hips. So press down through your feet. Hands to hips. And then we're going to rise all the way up into a standing position. Okie doke. Heels in, toes out. High squat, bend your knees, sit down. Hands to the tops of your thighs. And if you need to adjust your legs at all, that's fine. You want your knees pretty much over your ankles. So if you need to widen or shorten your stance, go for it. Sit your butt as low as you can. And then notice if your knees want to fall in, press them out. So press them back behind you. Really root down into the outer edges of your feet. Take an inhale, press into your thighs, lift your heart like you're doing a standing cow pose. Exhale, twist towards the back of your mat. So right shoulder towards your left knee. Hold here for a full round of breath. See if you can press your knees open a little wider. Inhale, come back through center. Lift your heart. Exhale, twist towards the front of your mat. Full round of breath. Press your knees open wider, sit lower. Press into the outer edges of your feet. Good job. Inhale, back to center. We're going to go once more in each direction, a little bit faster. Exhale to the back, twist, empty out. And inhale through center. Exhale to the front. Empty all the way out. Inhale, come back to center. Now listen, pivot your toes to face forward. So now your feet are parallel. Bring your forearms down to your shins and extend through your spine. So if you look at me from the side, think of lengthening through your spine. Press your arms into your shins. Use that as leverage. So your butt sticks out behind you. Spine is long. Back of your neck is long. Forearms press into your shins. Shins press back into your forearms. Take about 2 more rounds here. Butt sticks out behind you. Spine lengthens. Breathe down into your pelvis, down into your hips. End of your next exhale, you can just bring your fingertips to the ground and then lift your hips to the sky. So you're in your wide-legged forward fold. If you want to walk your feet out a little bit wider, you're welcome to. You've got about 5 deep breaths. So take it anywhere you would like. You can explore with movement or just be still. Totally up to you. Just make sure you've got your breath right there with you. Try not to rock back into your heels and lock out your knees. Keep lifting your sit bones up, your waistline up. Last couple rounds. And if you happen to be upside down, slowly bring your feet back to the earth. Next time you inhale, halfway lift, and this time you can just keep your fingertips on the ground, bend your knees if you need to. Crawl your hands to the top of your mat, rotate your toes to face forward so you're back in a low lunge position. This time we're going to rise up to high crescent. So root into your feet, rise, settle in. So this is a pose we do all the time in my classes. Take a moment to find your stability. Front hip pulls ever so slightly back. Back hip pulls ever so slightly forward. Inner thigh squeeze, belly tones, chest lifts. Take one more big breath where you're at. And then bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. Roll your shoulders back and down, shoulder blades squeeze your spine. I won't make you do that awful washing machine pose. This time, you're just gonna stay here, fingers interlaced. If you can, start to reach your hands back away from your body. We're gonna move into a balance. So, start to lean forward, root into your right foot, and as you're ready, back foot floats up. So think warrior 3 with your fingers interlaced behind your back. Hold here for about 2 breaths. Back leg strong, back foot active. We're going to turn this into what's called toppling tree. So keep your fingers interlaced and start to reach your head towards the ground, left leg higher towards the sky. So it's like you're a teeter-totter. Head goes down, left leg goes up. Work that for as long as you can. And then standing splits. So all you have to do is release your clasp and bring your fingertips down. You're there. Once you're in your standing splits, give it about 3 rounds, anywhere you want to go. So you're welcome to wrap your right arm behind your right leg. You're welcome to play with a few little hops towards handstand. Totally up to you. Your pose, your expression. Maybe you're just holding and breathing. Let your neck relax. Let your face be soft. You guys are awesome. Take one more big inhale. See if you can lift your left leg a little higher. Spread your toes. And then exhale. Step your left foot down next to right. Top of your yoga mat. Forward fold. You can give your right leg a nice little shake out for a moment. All right. Halfway lift. Breathe in. And then exhale. Fold. Listen. Heel toe your feet out to the width of your yoga mat. And then toes come out wider than your heels, low yogi squat, malasana. So try to keep your heels down if possible. And then this time, you guys, all we're going to do is bring your hands to the ground in front of you and kind of move your hips and your legs around. So you can lift one heel, swing your hips to one side and then the other. And then if you can do that pretty easy with your hands down, try moving with your hands lifted. And if you want to get really crazy, try reaching your arms towards the sky, interlace your fingers, steeple your index, and just continue that movement. Try to keep your chest lifted. So just playing with the hips, moving, exploring. No right or wrong. Maybe you take just like gentle bounces up and down. Make sure you're breathing. Good work. If your hands are reaching up, release them. So everybody just bring your fingertips to the ground and then lift your hips to the sky. Keep your feet wide at the width of your mat, but pivot your toes to face directly forward. Inhale to a halfway lift. Left fingertips come down underneath your chest, right arm to the sky. So it's like you're in a slightly wide-legged twist. Both legs as straight as possible. If you need to bend your left knee, that's fine. Stay here or wrap your right arm behind your back. Maybe grab hold of your outer right ankle with your left hand. Use that as gentle leverage to work your twist deeper. Take 2 more breaths. Spine long, legs long. End of your next exhale, switch to the other side. So right hand starts on the ground, left arm to the sky. Stay here or take it into your own variation. So maybe left arm wraps behind, right hand grabs your outer left ankle. 2 more breaths. Nice work. End of your next exhalation. Release. Heel toe your feet back in, hips width distance, or big toes touch, whatever you prefer. Next time you breathe in, spinal extension. Realign one more time here. And with your exhale, let it go. Let's take it all the way up to stand. Inhale, stretch your arms to the sky. Reach. Grow tall. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Okay. Inhale, arms to the sky. Now, interlace your fingers. Flip your palms to face up towards the ceiling. So press up through your palms. Try to straighten your arms as much as you can. Keep your shoulders down away from your ears as you press through your palms. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, bring more weight into your left foot. Shift your hips to the left. Upper body reaches up and over to the right. Side body stretch. So press out through your palms. See if you can press your right armpit forward just a little bit so you're not rounding at all. Take one more breath. Reach further, release, stretch. Inhale, come through center. And then exhale, other side. So more weight in your right foot. Hips move to the right. Upper body up and over to the left. Now notice if your left armpit kind of drifted back behind you. Press it forward. Pull your right shoulder back and down. Arms should be straight. Press through your palms. Breathe one more round. Inhale back to center. And as you exhale, bend your knees. Round your spine. Bring your palms forward out in front of you. Chin to chest. And just take a moment and lift one shoulder and then the other shoulder. So side to side movement. This should feel really nice in your back body and your back ribs. So breathe into that. Stretch into that. You guys are awesome. Next time you inhale, rise up to high mountain so you can release your clasps. Just reach your arms to the sky. Exhale, hands behind your back, clasp. And then switch your clasp this time to one finger over. So it's going to feel a little bit funky, a little bit unnatural. That's okay. Shoulders back and down. Shoulder blades squeeze your spine. Start to reach your hands back away from your body. Now, one more inhale, maybe add a little baby back bend. Heart lifts, belly tones. Exhale, hold your clasp, take it all the way down, forward fold. Give me about 3 rounds with your fingers interlaced. I know it feels so weird having that opposite finger in front. See if you can just be with it. Work the pose in the best way you can right here, right now. Neck relaxes, head hangs heavy. Lift your butt, lift your knuckles, stretch through the fronts of your shoulders. One last inhale. Exhale, hands to your low back. Release your clasp. Inhale to a halfway lift position. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Pause in your high plank. Come down to your forearms. So you're in a forearm plank position now. Elbows under shoulders, forearms parallel, palms pressed down, especially your thumbs and your index fingers. Press through your thumbs and index. Draw navel to spine, breathe into your back body. Fire up through the fronts of your thighs. Stay here, this is your pose, or just like we did before, we're gonna roll onto the baby toe edge of our right foot. Left foot stacks on top of right. Keep both forearms pressing down. Lift through your right waistline, through those right side abdominals. Press down through both forearms, soften through your face. Don't let your hips sink. Take one more round. And end of your exhale, switch it up. So come through center, roll onto the outer edge of your left foot. Feet are flexed, right foot stacked on top of left. Press down through both forearms, lift through your left waistline. Soften your face, you're strong. You're stronger than your mind tells you you are, so know that, feel that. One more round. Come back to center, one arm at a time. Press back up to your hands, high plank position. Inhale, think of pushing the ground away. Exhale, slowly lower. Inhale this time, start with a baby cobra. So lift your chest using back strength rather than arm strength. Float your hands up and reach your hands back towards your heels. Float your feet up and reach your toes back, locust pose. Option here, if you would like, to interlace your fingers and use that as leverage to lift even higher. So think of reaching your knuckles back. Hug in with your inner thighs, everybody. That'll keep you out of your low spine. Use the strength in your mid and your upper back to lift higher than you thought you could. Breathe down into your belly. One more round. End of your exhale, let it go. Nice work. Take just a moment to rest on your belly. Breathe into your low back. And then hands come to frame your mid ribs. Tabletop position. I feel like it would feel really nice just for a second to press back into a child's pose. So if that calls to you, go for it. Quick child's pose. And then set up your strong, sturdy tabletop. So fingers spread wide. Push down through your hands. You don't want to sink into your elbow joints, your wrist joints, or your shoulder joints. Draw your belly button in and up. Gaze down, back of your neck is long. Left arm forward, right leg back. Strong straight line. So again, rather than thinking of a smiley face shape, you don't want to arch your back. So think strong, straight, powerful. Reach through your fingertips. Press through your back foot. One more inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee like you're moving in slow motion. Curl in, round your spine. Inhale, re-extend, lengthen. And exhale, zigzag, left arm out to the left, right leg out to the right. Bend your elbow or your knee if you want to modify. Full breath, hold here. Lift higher, inhale, come back to center. Exhale, elbow to knee, one more time. Curl in, feel your core strength. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, start to move towards your bind. Right knee bends, heel towards your butt. Left arm reaches back, heart lifts. This might be your pose. This can be where you stay. If it's available to you, grab hold of your foot. Kick foot into hand, pull hand back into foot, hugging with your inner thighs. Tone your low abdominals, navel to spine, lift your heart. Take 2 more rounds, spread your toes. Soften your face, breathe bigger. Nice job, my friends. End of your next exhale, let it go. Spinal balance, left arm forward, right arm back, neutralize. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. All right, this time we're going to take our left leg straight out to the left, toes face forward. So it's like you're in a half wide-legged straddle with your left leg. Right arm reaches out to the right, all the way up. Inhale, open up. Exhale, thread your right arm underneath you. Reach through like you want to grab your left big toe. Maybe some of you can. You're welcome to do so if it's available. Otherwise, wherever you want to take this, your expression. Breathe into your back body. Slow, deep breaths. So you can think of this as just a slightly restorative moment. You're still using effort. There's still strength involved. But see if you can soften perhaps just a little bit more. Take your exhales all the way to empty every single time. Feel that inner heat that you've been building throughout this entire practice. So everything's starting to really heat up and loosen up. Breathe into it. Create space where there was not space before. Give yourself about 2 more rounds. If you happen to have your left hand lifted, bring it back to the ground. And then next time you inhale, unthread your right arm. Reach it all the way up. Follow with your gaze. Open up. Exhale, right hand down. And then pick up your left foot. Swing your left leg all the way over so it comes off the right side of your yoga mat. Tiptoes to the ground. And then turn. Look back over your right shoulder at your left tiptoes. Squeeze your inner thighs, pull your hips to the left as you turn your upper body further to the right. Press down through both palms, through your fingertips, draw your belly button in and up. 1 more round. Breathe into your left side body. And let's come back to a tabletop, left knee down. Downward facing dog, take it back. All right, so take just a moment, reconnect to your breath, recommit to the rest of your practice. Stay present, stay here, be with me. So even if your mind wants to wander off, be with your body, be in this moment, stay present, stay here just a little longer. I promise You can. Nothing is going to melt down without you in the next 20 minutes, so just be where you're at. Find your breath, feel it. How does it feel to just be present with your breath? Such a simple thing, yet so hard for us. Next time you inhale, left leg to the sky. And then slowly see if you can peel your left hip open. So bend your left knee, reach your left knee out, and then up. You're welcome to stay here. This is a wonderful stretch. Great place to stay, or option to come down to your right forearm. So just like you're in a half dolphin pose, right forearm to the ground, and then crawl your left fingertips further forward. So you've got this huge long line from your left fingertips all the way up to your left knee. Make sure you're not just sinking into your right shoulder, so press down through the belly of your right forearm. Great place to stay, or if you want, you can turn this into a forearm wild thing. It's a little bit of a tricky transition, but eventually left foot comes down behind you, left arm reaches up. Press down through your right forearm, open through your shoulders, breathe down into your belly wherever you're at. One more breath. We'll all meet back in a three-legged down dog. So however you need to transition, palms to the ground, left leg lifts high. Big inhale to lengthen. Exhale, left knee, right elbow. Inhale, three-legged dog, take it up. Exhale, left to left, as high as you can get on your left arm. Inhale, three-legged dog, extend. Last one, knee to your nose, scoop out your belly. Ever so softly, left foot steps through. Keep your right hand on the ground, left arm to the sky, revolve lunge, twist. Squeeze your inner thighs. Imagine you're trying to drag your left hip back, but at the same time, left knee and shin hug towards your right armpit. Open through the left side of your from your chest, and then twist from your center. If you want to get crazy, see if you can hover your right hand. Woo, nothing else changes. Everything else stays still. One last big breath. Good. End of your exhalation. So take it all the way to empty, then slowly unwind. Wide-legged forward fold, hands over to the right side of your mat. Parallel your feet, straighten out your legs. Inhale, come to a halfway lift. Really root through your feet, bring your hands to your hips, and then slowly rise all the way up, just like we did before. Once you are standing, you're going to pivot your heels in, toes out, come down into your high squat position. You can bring your hands to the tops of your thighs if you want for just a moment. Settle in, so make sure your knees aren't falling forward. Think of pressing your knees back behind you. All right, sit as low as you can, press into the outer edges of your feet, your foots, and then arms, let your arms just hang in front of your body. Listen here. Inhale, shrug your shoulders up towards your ears. And then exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. Bring your hands behind your legs, your arms behind you. Inhale, one more time like that. Shoulders shrug up. Now see if you can roll your shoulders even further back, further down. Exhale. Now, inhale, reach your arms out to both sides. Exhale, squeeze the bottom tips of your shoulder blades and imagine you're trying to touch your elbows together behind you. Do that one more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Good. Inhale, reach. Now listen, exhale, hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, straighten out your legs, parallel your feet. Arms start to reach back. Shoulders peel open, option to lift your heart up, knuckles down, big inhale, tone your belly. Exhale, hinge at your hips, take it all the way down. Wide-legged forward fold with your hands clasped. Try to keep your clasp for at least 2 to 3 breaths. Reach your knuckles high, reach your sit bones, your hips, your waistline high. Try not to rock back into your heels. You can keep your fingers interlaced, or if you've had enough, you want to let it go, you're welcome to do so. You've got about 2 more rounds in your wide-legged fold. Nice work, my friends. If you still have your hands clasped, end of your next exhale, hands to your low back, release. Everybody inhale to a halfway lift, fingertips just on the ground. Crawl your hands to the top of your mat, rotate your toes to face forward, so back to a low lunge position. Now we'll rise to high crescent, so find strength in your legs, find stability, and then rise up and settle in. Squeeze through your inner thighs, strengthen that back leg. So find just as much strength in your back leg as you feel in your front. Hug in towards midline, tone your low abdominals, lift your heart. Breathe into your crescent lunge and feel it in your body. Take one more inhale. Exhale, last time, clasp your hands behind you. Lots of this today. Hopefully your shoulders will love you later tonight. So shoulders roll back and down. If you're feeling crazy, switch your grip one finger over. I know it's hard, I know it's uncomfortable. It's good for us. See if you can start to reach your hands back. And then as you reach your hands back, everybody lean forward a little bit, root into your left foot. When you're ready, back leg floats up. So warrior three with your fingers interlaced behind you, hips are square. Give me about 2 breaths in your warrior three. And then start to turn it into your toppling tree. So very slowly, head goes down as right leg reaches further up. So slowly, slowly, slowly. Take it as far as you can with your fingers interlaced. And then you'll be in your standing splits. You can release your clasp, fingertips come down. Relax your neck. Anywhere you want to go in your standing splits for about 3 breaths. Handstand hops, left arm behind your left leg, Shiva squats, your choice. Make sure your breath is right there with you. All right, my friends, give me one last big inhale. Reach, stretch, spread your right toes. Exhale, bring your right foot down next to left. So now you're in a forward fold. You can give your left leg a nice little shake out. Bring your big toes to touch, little gap in between your heels. This time, tuck and curl, tiny little potato bug ball. So butt towards the ground, nose towards your knees. Squeeze your inner thighs. If you want, you can wrap your arms around the fronts of your shins. Take about 2 more deep breaths. Each exhale, draw your belly button back and up. Find your center, that deepest part of yourself. Good job, my friends. All right, we're going to meet back in down dog, so listen first. From your tiny little potato bug ball, you have the option of either just planting your hands, stepping your feet back, moving through a vinyasa, or plant your hands, maybe play with crow pose for a moment. So think knees as high as you can get them on your triceps, gaze slightly forward, then lean forward into your chaturanga arms. Lift through your waistline, draw navel to spine. You can either set your feet back down and step back when you're ready, or if you want to play with a jump back to chaturanga with bent elbows. And then find your way into your downward facing dog. So just in your next about 3 breaths or so, downward facing dog. Good job, you guys. Once you're in your down dog, walk it out, stretch, lengthen. Create lots and lots of space in your spine and your side bodies. Down the backs of your legs. Try to keep your shoulders really strong so they're plugged in, but then think of pressing back through your heart, not from your shoulders. Take one more big, huge breath into your down dog. And then exhale, just set your knees, or end of your exhale, set your knees down. So you're in a tabletop for a moment. Now listen, you're going to crawl both hands off the left side of your mat and turn your entire body so you're facing to the left. So you're in a tabletop now with your hands off the left side of your mat. Just like this. All right, we're going into frog pose or floor frog. So if you feel like you need extra cushions, you're welcome to bring a blanket underneath you. You might even fold over the back and the front edge of your mat for just a little bit extra cushion. Start to walk your knees out and then turn your feet out so your toes are facing away from your body. Flex your feet, continue to walk your knees out as wide as you can. And then once you've gone as far as you can, you found what we call an edge. Be there. Maybe you can lower down to your forearms. And then just gently press your butt back. So back behind you. The inner edges of your feet should be against the ground. Flex your toes. You want to imagine you're standing on the ground. So if there was an invisible wall underneath your feet. Imagine that. And then press your butt back towards your feet, just ever so gently. You can stay here. This is perfect. Just breathe. Or if you want, explore a little bit of cat-cow through your spine and through your pelvis. So as you inhale, your tailbone lifts, your chest lifts, your belly drops, front ribs spread. And as you exhale, you round, you curl in. Try not to bring your hips forward. Keep pressing your hips back towards your feet. Go back and forth with your breath if you're taking those cat-cows. Otherwise, just hold and be still. You've got about 3 or 4 more rounds. Just want to make sure you guys can see where I'm going next. So, all right, from your floor frog, now this one's super fun, you're gonna love it. You're going to walk your upper body forward until you can just let your hips, set your hips down so your feet can lift. Front of your hips are now on the ground. Bring the soles of your feet together. Soles of your feet together. So it's like you're in cobbler's pose, but you're lying on your belly. Soles of your feet together. Rest your head down. Press your heels together. And then imagine now that you want to press the inner edges of your feet all the way down to the ground. So if somebody was adjusting you, they'd bring their hands to your feet. They'd hold them together and they'd push them down towards the ground gently. So create that kind of self-adjustment by using your own body awareness, by using your own strength, softening around the pose. So inner edges of your feet towards the ground, keep pressing through your heels. You can just relax your head down. Anything that feels good with your upper body. Breathe into the fronts of your hips. Try to keep your spine nice and neutral. So if it feels like your belly is really pressing down, draw navel to spine. Find that little bit of engagement through your lowest, deepest abdominals, what are called the transverse. So it's not your six-pack. You're not squeezing your abs. You're just toning your low belly, supporting your low back. Take about 2 more breaths. Good work, my friends. All righty. Let's bring our hands to frame our mid-ribs. You can just press up to a tabletop. Walk your knees back in, unfold your mat if it's folded up, move your blanket if you were using one. You're gonna rotate again so you're facing forward, tabletop position, and then just sit back so you can either cross your ankles or sit your hips to either side. Come into a seat. All right. Seated cobbler's pose. So now, feet together, knees apart in a seated position. I do not care how close your feet are to your body. What I care most about is that you're sitting up tall. So if it's helpful, you can sit up on top of a blanket or a bolster. Get your feet as close as you can without feeling like you're gonna lean back and roll backwards. So what I want you to focus on is your pelvis. Rather than tucking your tailbone under, I want you to think of sticking your butt out behind you. So you might even take your hands to your inner thighs, kind of rotate them down, pull your butt back, so you already feel like you're leaning forward. Bring your hands to the fronts of your shins or the fronts of your ankles, pull your shoulders back and pull your chest forward, press your heels together. So I don't want rounding, I want lengthening. If this is hard, stay here. Otherwise, lead with your heart. Continue to reach your heart forward and then come down as far as you can. Then you can relax your neck, let your upper back round, and maybe even crawl your hands forward on the ground in front of you. Take about 3 more deep breaths. Breathe all the way down into your hips. Full body breaths, bigger, more spacious. Last round. And then roll it up. So 1 vertebra at a time, slowly rise. Head comes up very last. Okie dokie. We've got 1 more seated pose, then we'll take it down onto our backs. So I'm going to give you some options. You can face the front of your mat. I'm going to face the side just so you can see me. You can face the side if you want to have your mat underneath your legs. So wide-legged straddle. Bring your legs out. Okay, so this is option 1. I'm going to give you option 2 in a second. Option 1, legs out as wide as possible. And then think of the same thing with your pelvis. You want to stick your butt out behind you. So you might take your inner thighs, roll them down, pull your butt out. You want to get that leaning forward sensation rather than rolling backwards. If it's helpful, put a blanket or a bolster underneath your sit bones. And then you can either sit up tall, flex your toes, make sure your toes point straight up, or lead with your heart, fold forward, crawl your hands forward. That's where you stay, that's where you breathe. Here is option 2. This is one of the most terrible poses in yoga. It was so hard for me for like 10 years, and then one day I tried it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do it now. So, tortoise pose. You have a slightly wide-legged position with your legs. So they're not super wide, they're not together, they're right in between. Then you're gonna bend your knees like I'm doing now. So knees are bent, backs of your heels are down, feet are flexed. You're gonna take your arms, thread them underneath your knees like so. So we're gonna reach our arms back as we straighten our legs and fold forward. So this is what it will look like. You can watch and then try it. So I'm crawling my arms under, and then I'm gonna straighten my legs, press out through my heels, reach my butt back, forehead towards the ground. And this is where I'm gonna stay and breathe. If it doesn't work for you, you know your modification. 2 or 3 more rounds. Big deep breaths. Both poses, think of reaching your butt back, lengthening through your low spine. Toes are flexed and point straight up. Give me 1 more breath. And then slowly ease your way out. Woo. Head comes up very last. Take it all the way down onto your back. So bring your legs together. Maybe you give them a nice little shake out. And all the way down. Once you're on your back, full body stretch, arms long, legs long, pull yourself apart. And then move into a bridge pose or any other heart opener that you desire, that you choose. So I'm going to take bridge. You can take bridge with me. You can take upward facing bow, your full back bend. If you come to my classes often and you want to take your little butt lifts, lifting and lowering your butt a few times, go for it. If you want to interlace your fingers underneath you, go for it. You've got about 5 to 7 breaths in your heart opener, in your back bend. Inner thighs hug in to stay out of your low back. So most of us have a lot of mobility just naturally in our low back, and it's really easy for us to exploit that mobility because we don't have lots of mobility in our mid-back. So rather than finding mobility in our mid-back, we just exploit the flexibility in our low back. So what we're trying to do by toning our belly is to stay out of that hypermobility, that overextension in our low spine, and bring a little more mobility into the middles of our spine. So that part, it just kind of it gets lost in translation. Our upper backs move, our lower backs move, but our mid-backs just kind of hang out. The muscles around the middle of our spine atrophy, and that's why a lot of us have not the best posture, because we don't have muscles in the middle of our back. So start to bring more awareness into that space, start to build those muscles, create more awareness. Give me about 2 more rounds wherever you're at. And then I'm going to let you come out of it however you'd like. Just make sure you're doing it with awareness. And then once your back is resting again on the ground, you've got your nice neutral spine, windshield wiper. So tee out your arms, feet wider than your hips. Take your feet out to the width of your mat and just windshield wiper your knees from side to side. Back and forth. Feel the mobility in your hips. Maybe down into your low spine. Next time your knees fall to the right, just let them stay there for about 3 rounds. And if you want to bring the outer edge of your right foot to the outside of your left knee, go for it. Encourage your left knee forward and down. So start to give more and more of your weight to the earth. You guys are amazing. I know it's not easy to show up on your mat when you don't have accountability. You don't have anybody watching you or telling you you need to do your yoga practice. You just have to log onto your computer, and sometimes that is so hard. So good job for showing up. Switch to the other side, knees over to the left. And not only that, but this class is a little bit longer. It's about 70-75 minutes. So if you can keep your awareness for 75 minutes with me on the computer screen, give yourself a pat on the back. Showing up to our practice a lot of times is the hardest part. It's so easy to get out of the habit. I can't tell you how many people come up to me and tell me, oh my gosh, I miss yoga, I miss your classes. And as much as I love hearing that, sometimes I think if you only knew what people are doing to stay connected to their yoga practice and to their yoga community. It's not easy, but I think it is so helpful. It is so worth it. Movement is our medicine. It's so good for our bodies, not only physically, but energetically and emotionally. So when you feel even on both sides, Ruby is coming to say hi, my sweet little angel doggy. When you feel even on both sides, bring it back to center and then find a happy baby pose. all I'm saying, really, you guys, is good job to you for showing up, for doing your practice, taking time out of your day to slow down and to tune in. So, as you're ready, just start transitioning to your final relaxation. So if there are any more postures, any more movements, any more stretches you want to take, feel free to take them. And then just start settling into your final relaxation, your final Shavasana. This reading is a little bit longer, so take your time moving through those last poses, settling in, and I will just read to you. This is by Jeff Foster, and it's called What They Taught You. They taught you that you were small. They told you that you were incomplete, that you were limited, that there was something missing, something wrong with you. They believed in right and wrong, that you were less than and others were more than. They sold you a lie. They fed you a nightmare, that love was conditional, that you had to work for it or earn it or be good enough for it, that the source of your self-worth was outside of you and was outside of your control, that it was dependent upon doing better, being faster, smarter, louder, quieter, being taller, prettier, more accomplished, achieving better grades, climbing higher, descending when told, making more, having more, money, certificates, titles, praise, applause, building a better image, constructing a better you, a better version, an upgrade. It was all a lie. You were lovable exactly as you were in your original form. From the beginning, you were whole and complete and worthy of love, worthy of good quality attention, worthy of empathy, worthy of safety, worthy of dignity and respect. Your feelings mattered, even the uncomfortable ones. Your body was beautiful, even with its imperfections. Your voice was sacred, even when they didn't agree. Your success mattered, and your failures were also pure. Your in-breath mattered, your out-breath too. They taught you that you were small. They told you that you were incomplete, limited, that there was something missing, something wrong with you, that you were less than and others were more than. They were mistaken always. Yet forgive them. They knew not what they were doing, for they were taught the same. So just a reminder that in our culture, for some reason in our society, we base our worth so much on what we accomplish on the outside, or how many trophies we have on our shelf, how much money we have to show for how amazing of a job title that we have. So all of that, it's great, it's awesome. Goals are good to set. Dreams are wonderful to have. But just remind yourself always that you are enough as you are right now. You don't have to do anything. You do not have to prove anything to be worthy of love, of attention, of presence. So for these last few moments, give yourself that. Give that to yourself. You don't need it from the outside. Love yourself as you are. And I will leave you here. You can stay as long as you'd like and just rest with that. Just sit with that. Let your breath be effortless. Let your mind be a little more still. Just take these last couple of moments for yourself and then close your practice in a way that resonates for you. Thank you guys so much. I love you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.